Let's go to Jamie. He's a West Ham fan. All right, Jamie?
Right, Jay.
Go on, mate.
All right, matey.
Yeah, Jamie. Look,
Show.
what's going on?
I think we're looking at Avram Grant, aren't we?
You can't. What, you saying this feels like Avram Grant?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I thought I don't want him.
Don't be knocking Avram Grant. He's
know,
a
but
good manager, Avram.
He had a stinker, though, West Ham.
Death?
He had a stinker.
He did have a week.
Really?
He
He had a terrible time.
I liked Avram.
No,
He was my manager at Portsmouth. Loved him. Great lad.
Great manager.
Walked into his office once. He pulled me into the office and said, wanted to have a chat with me about a game. So I went in there, knocked on his door, walked in. He was asleep. Walked out.
Dr. Death.
Oh, dear.
Who do you want then, J-Mo?
I don't know. I think I'd give Kevin Nolan a go.
Well, you see him on telly now. We've just been speaking about
Listen,
Kev.
Kev's a great lad, but I don't know if he's not the manager, but he was a really good
there, wasn't he?
first team coach. Of course he was. Assistant manager. Do you know what I mean? He knew what the club was about. He loved the club. He knew how to get the best out of players. That's what made West Ham West Ham. And I feel like you've just gone away from that now. You've lost all that with Lopetegui.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it tonight. His passion was not even there. It was just like he was looking down. He was sitting down. There was nothing there. Nothing there at all.
Jay, what can we do to cheer you up, mate? Where are you now? Where are you now?
Bournemouth. I'm indoors at the minute. I just come out from the pub.
Right.
If Bournemouth beat Tottenham, I mean, that'd be happy days for me.
Is that what you
See, I'm glad you got spanked tonight. It's West Ham. And,
that's when you know, right? You're having a terrible time. Is because the only solace you can find is looking at other teams getting beat.
I know.
I've been like that for 2 years, a Chelsea fan. Looking at other teams, saying, well, they didn't win.
You know what? Look, Joan, we dig you out and say, be careful what you wish for. Everyone said it. And, in a way, we were right. But Cundy was also right in talking about the fact that it was maybe time for David Moyes to move on. But you've got it so wrong with Lopetegui. There's so many good managers out there now.
We've gone sideways. We haven't gone forward. We've gone sideways. Lopetegui was not the right choice.
No. Do you know what they do? This reminded me a little bit, right? So after David Moyes left the first time, Pellegrini come in, right?
Yeah.
And I said at the time, because they got him back from, I think he was out in China or something like that.
Yeah, I think he was, yeah.
And all they got seduced by was his record, who he managed.
Yeah.
I think the same thing applies here.
I know.
I think they've looked at the managerial record.
Real
Madrid, I think they got seduced by that again, and they've made exactly the same mistake as they made back then. Almost like history's repeated itself. David Moyes goes...
Amateur hour, though, isn't it?
But it feels that they've made the same decision based on the same criteria of what the manager looked like. Look at his CV. Look what he's done. Perfect for West Ham. Exactly. They made the same mistake.
Doesn't feel inspiring, does he?
No, do you know what? Managers, whenever they are in a hole like that, and a situation, he's not stupid. He'll know how much pressure he's under. They just roll out the same old thing, don't they? Prepare for the next game. Yeah. And what can he say?
Well, he can't say anything. He can say they've been good and they've been bad. But really and truthfully, over the course of the season so far, they've had a couple of decent results, but that's about it.
Yeah, I just wonder... Sacking a manager, right, it's a huge decision at a football club, right?
Well, especially when you just brought him in.
Just brought him in, right? It's huge. But on Monday night, they got Wolves.
Yeah.
Right? Do they allow him to take that game because it's at home? And you know what?
But if they win that game comfortably, then you go, oh, do we give them another week? Right. And you go around in the same old circle.
Fine. But can you imagine if they don't, what the fans will do? Because you can hear the fans now. I mean, they're, dropping all sorts of bombs.
I'd sack him.
Would you now?
Yeah.
What? There needs to be, or is it literally, right, I've seen enough, can't be any worse?
Well, who can be, Mark Noble be an interim manager for a bit, and he's there, isn't he?
He'd help out, wouldn't he?
Just get Mark Noble in there and just listen, lads, this is what we're about. Let's go and put in a couple of results, like Van Nistelrooy did. But this is a crucial
period now. We're entering the busiest time of the Premier League. Games come thick and fast, right the way through the festive season, right into the new year. If you ain't got a manager there, mate, your season could fall apart before before you can get to the new year.
Yeah, well, no. Well, they keep losing games. They're going to be down near the bottom.
They must have they've got to be thinking about, football clubs must have a plan or a list somewhere of what managers.
I don't know if they do,
They
mate.
must. They got to.
I don't know if they do.
Well, they should.
I don't know, mate.
They
Honestly,
should.
I see so many amateur hour signings and
I
appointments.
I'll be
I don't
amazed.
know if I don't know if these owners do have a plan.
Well,
they
have to have a list.
Come
somewhere.
on, mate. Look at West Ham.
Put it in the safe, Jay.
They've brought in a manager.
Put the list in the safe so no one sees it, right? There must. No, you don't want that list getting out in the papers, right? You have a list, put it in the safe, but there must be some names somewhere inside.
Right, Graham Potter, Michael Carrick.
Right. Is that your list? Or you found it?
Well, it's a list that's out there, which is obvious. And then you look abroad.
Right,
Do you know what I mean?
They
They could have had Amorim.
They could have had Amorim.
They binned Amorim.
They didn't fancy
because they didn't want 3-4-3.
Didn't want free at the back.
Go to Jack, who's a Leicester fan. All right, Jack?
All right, Jack.
How are we doing, guys?
Yeah.
Right, Jackie,
All right,
you?
matey.
Yeah, very well. Great show, guys. Thanks for having me on.
No worries.
Quick one.
Cool.
What a perfect debut for Ruud van Nistelrooy. But let's face it, West Ham were all over us. They're all over us like a rash. In spells, Leicester look good going forward. On the break, Buonanotte, El Canous, they look good in midfield. But West Ham turned us over, lads. West Ham.
Well, they didn't turn you over. You won 3-1.
We won 3-1, but Ruud van Nistelrooy, he's not a daft. He's smart. He's going to look at that result and go, yeah, do you know what? Happy we've got the win, but he's going to know that we've got plenty to work on, lads.
Do you know what? I think, Jack, do you know what? It's a brilliant call, Jack, because I know we're like as football fans. The result is always the most important thing. But if you really want to have a deeper dive into what that game looked like and felt like, certainly from a neutral's point of view, on another day that could be 3-3. On another day that could be 4-3 to them. Seriously, if you defend like that, most of the time in the Premier League you'll get punished. If you allow that many shots on target, you will get punished. You won't get away with it. West Ham tonight, maybe a lack of confidence in front of goal. They're struggling a little bit, but at least he's got the win.
Yeah.
He can say, do you know what, right?
Yeah.
Let's identify some of the issues that we had tonight, because there were some.
Oh, there were loads of issues. At the back, when we lost the ball, we just looked so open. And I believe we've got Brighton next.
Yes,
if we play like that against Brighton, we're going to get hammered.
Yeah,
we are going to get hammered. If you pardon the pun, we're going to get hammered.
You know what though, Jack? You still got some good players. I know, Vardy's, getting on a bit, but he still causes problems up front, mate. His runs are so good. He runs off the back of people all the time. It feels like what I was watching tonight with Ruud van Nistelrooy. I like Ruud van Nistelrooy. I thought he looked good on the sideline at Man United, and he does look like a good manager. Feels like a bit of a feel-good factor all of a sudden back at Leicester.
Yeah, do you know what? The feel-good factor is certainly back. It's a great result. It's a really good start. And I just want to mention, Patson Dako's come off the bench and he gets loads of stick from Leicester fans, loads of fans across the world. He's come on. He took his chance. Yep. Let's give him a couple more opportunities off the bench. Vardy's going to start. But, we've got the backup. Let's give Daka a couple of opportunities. He's got his goal now. Let's kick on.
Jack, let me ask you about the centre back, because Vals, I think, has had a bit of a tough time of late. That's why Conor Cody came in. You've got the experience of him, also Vestergaard in there. Do you think he'll stick with that partnership at the back?
Do you know what? I think Ruud van Nistelrooy, he watched the Brentford game and he saw the errors in Wout Faes.
Yeah. And against Chelsea, the first goal.
Yeah. I think he's seen through the errors. I think the partnership that he'll go for and that he needs to stick with, Conor Cody, he's been around. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's passionate. He's going to dig in. He's going to grind out results. He's going to keep that back four organised.
Yeah.
Let's stick with him. Conor Cody and another.
Yeah, I agree.
The Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Monday to Thursday nights from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.